All right, so if you can hear me coming in there loud and clear, please let me know with a like so that we can get into it. As you can see on the screen here, congratulations to Mr. Jamar Langley on winning again tonight. Thank you for that like. That was very quick. That was very awesome. I appreciate that, y'all. The other two people, as you come in here, hit that like button. So then there'll be 3 likes up in there. We'll get 3 more people in here, and we'll get into what we got to talk about tonight. Once again, shout out to my man Jamar Langley, Andrews native. I got a real good show for you tonight. I got a very special guest that's going to be with us here shortly, and that is Miss Renee Brown, the founder of Big Rig Kids. Big Rig Kids is an organization that I had the pleasure of hanging out with 2 Saturdays ago out at Georgetown at the Howard at the Howard auditorium. They had nice a very nice event they had there. It was the first time that I had ever ran across the Big Rig Kids, and I was totally impressed with everything that went on. So we'll get into a conversation with Miss Renee Brown, and you'll learn more about the organization and how you can become a Big Rig Kid. Uh, so I'm looking forward to that conversation. Before I get into that conversation, though, I tell you, one of my favorite, just ironically, that I played Bob Marley song this morning, One Love. But, Bob Marley is a very big artist for me. That's, when you talk about favorite artists, yeah. And one of his songs, he says in the song, whenever it rains, it just doesn't rain on one rooftop. And that's just how that goes. So uh, tonight on the screen right here is a very close friend of mine's niece who was murdered in a domestic violence situation that took place in Columbia, South Carolina on Sunday. Her name is Winter Straw, Miss Winter Straw. Um, and she was violently murdered by her husband on Sunday in a domestic violence situation. I don't know the details of it. Um, Her mom reached out to me, sent me this here that I'm sharing with you, and just asked that I make sure and don't and tell Winter's story. I just saw Winter and her other sisters the other night. I mean the other day, on about 13 days ago, on the went by, and I saw she was with her siblings, her other sisters. She's the youngest of the three. Again, I'm going to be covering this story very, very in depth for a lot of reasons. One is because this young lady is, again, the daughter of some people who I'm very close with. If anybody know RO, this is RO's niece, and 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 I'm gonna sit right here right now, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna do this right here, right? Because I'm gonna put this on the bottom of the screen right here, and I'm gonna say to any young lady, if you have any kind of situation that you're in that's involved in some kind of domestic violence situation, and you don't think that you have a way out, there's a number on the bottom of the screen. You need to call that number. Okay. You need to talk to somebody, because Them things ain't gonna get better. And this is you see her on the screen. This is a very young lady. Again, I don't have details. I'm gonna go. Whenever it rains, it just doesn't rain on one person's rooftop. So this is the story you see me sharing on my page today. Literally just sat right across from this young lady 13 days ago. And now she's gone. So y'all see it on the screen right there. Black Diamond Princess. Male or female. Because there was just a story shared to me out of Mississippi where a man and a woman having a domestic situation ended up dead in front of his children. And I mean, we all know this situation in Andrews all too well. I know it doubly, triply now. Okay, I literally know 3 young people, more than 3. My son, Tasha, Gucci, and now Winter. All of these people's names that I just named, including my son, died in a domestic situation. Murder-suicide situation. All 3 of these people. Or 4 of these people, excuse me. And I know all of them. This stuff is no joke. This is not the stuff that I'm telling you about the prominent businessman. Stuff, none of this stuff is no joke. I don't even want to be doing this. But it's not a joke. It's not a joke. I'm telling you, ladies, if you don't wait, man. Don't take no shit. Just put it in your mind that you're not gonna take nothing and you just gonna leave. And there's help for you. Forget them clowns around you who just watching and acting like they don't know what's going on. Call this number. It don't matter what time of night. I see you there, Miss Renee. So again, ladies, I'm gonna keep this number up here every day. We're gonna be on this Black Diamond Princess thing, okay? We're gonna be on this Black Diamond Princess. You got to call. And just because it says Black Diamond Princess, that don't mean white people can't call, Mexican people can't call. If you in trouble, call that number. Please call that number. Okay? Boom. Okay? All right, so let's get it together here. When it rains, it doesn't just rain on one rooftop. Man, that was some lines that brother put out there some years ago. And yeah. So listen, I was just telling you guys about the Big Rig Kids, all right? And the Big Rig Kids. And I just got introduced to the Big Rig Kids. I actually learned about the Big Rig Kids through Miss Jerry Davis, who is the founder of Black Diamond Princess. And so I just went with it. Big Rig Kids. And when I got there, y'all, let me tell you something. it was a networking bonanza. Just with the kids, you had positive adults there, and then I got to meet the founder of the Big Rig Kids, and of course, you got everybody kind of talking to her because she's got that energy that's just drawing people in. And so I was like, you know what, I got to get on Welcome to Andrews, the podcast. So and when I say we, I'm talking about my daughter Kaja, and shout out to Kaja, and shout out to my man Amir. Those guys came with me. Well, I went with them more so, and it I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Should I do this first? But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring my guest up first, guys. All right, and there she is on screen right there. Y'all give her a warm welcome to Andrews, the podcast. Look at her. That's what I'm talking about, Miss Renee Brown. Welcome, Miss Renee.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure. So, Miss Renee, I want to start this off with this because, all right, guys, this is how the Big Rig Kids started off right here now, and you introduced this young man once I put it on screen.
Don't need me. Go ahead, baby.
I am integrity. I am self-love. I am greatness. I am acceptance. I am my brother's keeper. No, man. I messed up.
Take your time and start over. You got this.
I am integrity. I am self-love. I am greatness. I am acceptance. I am unity. I am my brother's keeper. We too are America. We too are the world. We too will speak life, and we too will change humanity for the better. We are the Big Rig Kids. The Big Rig Kids are children from diverse backgrounds working together for a common cause, building character and stronger communities. We believe that reading is fundamental, and we also believe that if we work together, we can change our community, change our state, change our nation, and change our world. Come join us. You could be a Big Rig Kid too.
Yeah, hey, and listen, I was I'm charged just listening to that. Who is that young man? Introduce us to him, please, ma'am.
His name is Mason. Mason is a third grader from Browns Ferry Elementary School, and he lives in the Choppy community. I had the privilege of meeting Mason through some auditions that we were doing through Zoom. And if you remember, we didn't know who Mason was because there were other children who signed up. But somehow Mason got into that Zoom. He didn't even have our materials. He had his own little book that he pulled out and started reading. And it was like, okay, we are going to work with Mason. And Mason has been in on our table readings on Wednesdays. And he's just an amazing kid. I don't know how he got in there, but I'm glad that he did because he is an amazing kid. And the piece that you heard him just recited, that is our Big Rig Kid creed.
And there you go. It's inspiring. But I just heard you say something about you said your reading table. What are you talking about when you say that?
When you talk about the Big Rig Kid reading table, I'm going to back up a little bit. Before COVID hit, my program was actually into private schools in Charlotte.
Okay.
And my bullying book, one of the private schools and myself, we sat down when we tore the book apart and turned it into a school play. The kids had the privilege of doing that one time before the schools were shut down from COVID. So now we're going back into breaking all those books down into what we would call a school stage play. And we're recruiting children from all over the world, well, all over the country, to join us at those tables on Wednesday, because now we're reading these parts because Eventually, we're going to bring that play and other parts back to life. And we would like to have kids in all areas that we go to. So when we come to those areas, the children are able to perform what they have learned at these reading tables in the area that they live in.
Absolutely. And so the Big Rig Kids, and we're here with the founder of the Big Rig Kids, Miss Renee. Miss Renee, tell us. I saw on the flyer where are some of the states that the Big Rig Kids operate in?
Whew. We started in North Carolina, which I lived there before I moved to Atlanta. Right now, we've been in North Carolina. We did North Carolina in February. We did South Carolina this month, Georgetown, which is my hometown. I grew up there, but I haven't lived there in a long time. And then now it's Florida, Tennessee, Maryland, DC, New York, Jersey, Delaware, and I think I missed one. But those the rotations right now, and right now we're deciding whether we're going to Florida or Tennessee next, because we have to get these dates set up. We've been talking to people in these areas, but it's just getting those dates lined up as to when we will be there.
Okay. And so the Big Rig Kids, this was inspired from your career. You are a professional trucker. You were a professional trucker. And so how did you come up with this this concept, Grandma Polly?
Yes, it wasn't something on my mind, but it just kept pulling and nagging at me. And I drove cross country for 8 years, so I saw a lot and I heard a lot. We ran into a lot of homeless people. We ran into a lot of struggling families. And as I saw those things, and even coming back to Charlotte on home time, I would be like, these things are happening in our communities, but nobody's talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
Our children see this stuff and nobody's talking about it. These things are going on in families, but no one's talking about them.
Absolutely.
So, I started putting fingers to the keyboard and I write about the hard topics that people find it difficult to talk about in families. From sickle cell in our community, because we only think Black people have sickle cell, but it's people of color. Bullying and homelessness. When I talk to the kids about homelessness, the answers that they give back is not true. So we need to decipher those myths. When I ask kids, what do they think about a homeless person? Oh, they're drunks, they're drug addicts, they just didn't care. And that's far from the truth. They may do drugs and they may drink, but that's self-medicating their problem. And a lot of these people have mental illness. I would say 95% of them are veterans who have returned home from war, who have returned home from the military, who are living on the streets. And once you get to know them, a lot of them are very intelligent people. When I lived in Charlotte, I had plenty of friends that I made with them being on the streets, because we went out and we fed the community. We went out and we closed the communities. And that is what these books about. Each one of these books starts with a problem. But then they provided the kids, and along with Grandma Polly, which is myself, which was my grandmother.
Okay. So, and I got on the screen right here where you guys can go to www.thebigrigkids.org, right? And there they should be able, would they be able to sign, like, so if somebody's watching this right now and they're saying, hey, I would love this to come to our area, what is the process? What is the procedure that they need to go through to get in contact with you?
They can visit the website, or they can call us personally. There is a form on the website that you can fill out. There's also a form, that same form can be used, like we said, our table reads that we do through Zoom.
Hmm.
They can sign up for that also. And it's just getting the kids in the community involved and
There you
bridging
go.
that gap, bringing people together.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm gonna share another video from the Big Rig Kids event, and let's see who we're gonna pull up here. Oh, this guy here, I thought this was interesting here.
Hi, my name is Kadisi Richardson, and I'm here with Mr. Brian Muhammad. Today, he's going to tell us why he is here with the Big Rig Kids.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me at this event. My name is Brian Muhammad. I am the author of a Black graphic novel series called The Retaliator for ages 10 to adult. You can find me on social media on Facebook, Facebook.com/The Retaliator, Instagram, the_retaliator #1. Okay, 1. And so the reason why I wrote this book is because I didn't see too many of our superheroes written from a Black perspective, and so I didn't see enough of us as far as Black superheroes written in regards to our plight, things that we're going through, things that we can relate to. It was always based on fantasy. So the reason why I wrote The Retaliator is because it's dealing with situations and topics that we're currently experiencing. This is book number 4, deals with illegal steroid usage in the athletic community. This is book number 3, deals with police brutality. And last but not least, this is actually book number 1. It was revised book number 1, which is the origin of the Retaliator, why he's doing what he's doing. So I think that these are books that we can relate to and that we can really grow a strong connection to, and also it's a form of infotainment for our children to learn, because you guys are going to inherit the earth. So we as adults must prepare you for what you need to learn.
And that's what you like. One of the things that I was very, very impressed with is that you had a wide variety of vendors, and it all made sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like this guy here being here, Mr. Muhammad, you know what I mean? I was just fascinated by, okay, here we got a Black comic book writer, you know what I mean? Out of Charlotte, and then the doctor who was dealing with mental health, because you just talked about that. Let me see if I can find, well, let's see. So this is
Dr. Victor Paul.
Dr. Victor Paul. There you go. He was talking about the mental health crisis that's going on in the United States. And so I'm about to jump off. I'm about to get too deep right now, Ms. Brown. But this is what I want y'all to focus on right here tonight on Welcome to Andrews, the podcast, is going to www.bigrigkids.org and getting your kids signed up for this table reading. Take advantage of this technology, okay? Reading is, like my man say, fun. He said, fun. Listen, it is fun to your mental. Okay, not fundamental. It's fun to your mental. Okay, so you can also go and on Facebook here, the Big Rig Kids. So right now, while y'all ain't doing nothing, pick up your other phone, get on your computer, go ahead and go over there and hit the like button. Make sure you hit it don't cost you nothing to hit the like button. That a lot of times for organizations like that's a big thing that you can do. You hit that like button and it tells the algorithm that, hey, share this to somebody else. Okay, let's pass this information on again on Instagram. If Instagram is your thing, there you go. Right there, you can find them, the Big Rig Kids. And if you want to email the organization, here it is right here, the Big Rig Kids @gmail.com. Okay, Miss Renee, tell me about the real Grandma Polly.
Myself or my grandmother?
The real Grandma Polly. Yeah, you playing Grandma Polly. I want to talk here about the real Grandma Polly.
My grandmother, she raised me from the time I was 3 months old. Her and my grandfather raised me. And I lived with them until I got grown, left home, and got married. But it was just the community values that she had. We were always taught to care for other people. We were always taught to, treat people right, and just do what you can. If you see somebody in need, or you see somebody suffering and you can help them without tags attached, without strings attached. She used to tell us, she says, I'm teaching you all these things now because I'm not coming here for grass seed. She says, and the things that I do it from my heart. But once I'm gone and you guys are back here, we never know who you're going to need help from. She says, so I'm planting these seeds of goodwill so that it will be returned to my children and my grandchildren. And when my children and grandchildren do that, it's just a cycle that's going to keep going. And that's the way we looked at life.
And I was raised by my grandparents, common sense people, like not highly educated people, but very, very smart people. And I've been having a conversation with a couple gentlemen, and jokingly, but very, very serious. And we don't remember one time when I see you grew up with your grandparents and I grew up with my grandparents. So when it was lightning and thundering in the house, what you had to do?
Turn everything off, unplug the TV, sit down, don't move, don't breathe, don't sneeze, don't do nothing.
Listen,
the thing was, God is talking to you right now. So sit down and listen to God speak.
That's how much of a God-fearing people we come from.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at that, with that being the starting point, this world looks crazy to me now. So when I see people like yourself with organizations like this, yeah, I gotta help spread the word. This is my superpower here. Is the my talk. I like to talk. I had to figure out a way to talk. Y'all see her on the screen right there. Again, y'all make sure y'all head over to Facebook right now. Okay, head over there to the Big Rig Kids. Leave a comment. Okay, ask her, when is the Big Rig Kids coming to my neighborhood? Okay, and get on that email. Go ahead right now. All these different organizations that you got a bunch of 501c that looking for something to do, looking for somebody to connect with. Here is somebody that you could build with. You know what I mean? Like, come on, let's get these reading groups together, and it's already going on. Let's get on board, okay?
And I like the fact that you said connect with and work with, because that's what we're about. There is no big me, little you.
There you go.
There is no, oh, I can't work with this person, or I can't work with that person. I'm not a person that has a need to shine. I'm a person that has a need to help our children. And when we all could come together and work together, there is power in numbers. But if we're divided, then it's just like going to war. Mm. When you're together and you're working together, that's power. But you're only as strong as the weakest link. And when people start focusing on self, oh, well, I got this going on, but I'm not going to support that because this, that, or whatever. No, when you support each other, then it grows. It starts to bloom. Mm-hmm. And it just moves forward. And we're going back. I want to take you back a little bit where you talked about Dr. Paul, mm-hmm, and the mental illness part. That's my third book. My third book highlights how PTSD not only affects the person, because it's more than just the military. We have people living in communities with post-traumatic stress disorder. But instead of just focusing on the person who was damaged by it, not only is that person damaged by it, but the whole family is affected by it.
Yep.
And once the family gets involved and get the help that they need, then that's when we start healing. So each one of these books deal with things we as families deal with every day, but just don't know how to talk about them.
Mm-hmm. And that's big psychology. I gravitated to that in high school, and having that, and then, dabbling with it in colleges when I did go. It really helped me to process myself, to self-evaluate more than anything. Because the thing is, you don't know you're a psychopath if you don't know what it is. We may associate something like a crazy person on TV, but no, your friend may be a psychopath, and it's not a bad word. It's just, this is the mental condition that this is what this person is giving me. I'm only reading back what you giving me, and so that mental illness is a big thing, and we really need to focus in and pay attention to that, because like I said, just a lot of times coming out of communities that we from, that's a whole traumatic situation in itself. Like we need PTSD just for that, and I'm one that can attest to that. Okay. Let me give this lady here a shout out right here from North Carolina. That was there. She was very nice.
Hi, my name is Kadisi Richardson, and I am here with Miss Allie. And today she's gonna tell us why she is here with the Big Ray Kids.
Hi, I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, with Unity in the Heart Ministry Movement, and our main focus and vision and goals is to do the young entrepreneurship. That's mainly, we do the elderly, special needs, and the disabilities, but we're doing young people like these. We're training them because they are our future, and they're very important to be trained and be able to be self-sufficient, to be productive citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
That right there, that's why, like I said, y'all, like, they're my people. You know what I mean? When people talk like that, because they get it. Like, listen, these kids ain't gonna learn unless they doing. We learn by doing. That's how I learn. You can tell me, you can put it in the book, I can read it, look at it, but when I can put my hands on it and do it, oh man, you can kiss my behind now. You know what I mean? And that's how a lot of our people, Granddaddy probably couldn't pass the ASE thing, but he get that tractor running. I promise. I don't care what going on, because he can't run to the pot store and whatever. So, man, I was out there in Browns Ferry today. Not today. I feel like I'm still there, out there this past Friday over at Cadogo Farms. And
yes, I saw that.
It was a lady who was out there, and I'm gonna reconnect with her somehow. But we just walking through the woods, right? And this is me. I love this. Trust me, I'm country to the core. I love it. But I've never walked through the woods and been able to say, hey, look, that's bay leaves right there. I can go to the grocery store and find some bay leaves. But that made me say, you know what? Let me look up all the natural things because again, grandma them couldn't run to the grocery store because they ain't have that to go to. I mean, to the drugstore. They had to go in the woods and pull some stuff together and rub it on you, and now your arm ain't itching no more. And we that lady,
Alicia, you was out there at the Cadigo.
It was Alicia's the owner of it, but it was an older lady, short hair. You kind of see her in the video, but I'm sure you know if you can think about. But yeah, she was just like, yeah, that's bay leaves right there, and then she was like, well, that's that right there. But again, we and speaking of Cadogo Farm, they are back at that. That's what they doing. You know what I mean? And so Did you get to see her? Did she show you the what she call it? The elevation, it was like blueprints of, kind of where she's going with it.
Yes, we've talked about that, and I was happy to connect with her. Even though
Mm,
the other three people that you showed, they went with us in North Carolina and South Carolina, and they said they're waiting to see where we go next so they could go. But
I can see why. I'm trailing along too, so I can see why. It's a positive thing. It's a positive thing. It's an action thing. It's like we're not, I see these people, we're not playing with these kids. Let's get these kids and make these kids do and pull it out of them. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, but with Alicia and the farm, it was so funny. She was another one. We was on the Zoom with someone else talking about the events that was happening in South Carolina, but the person happened to be in her spot. So she was like there in the background when we pulled her in, and it was just a joy speaking to her because going back to the book again, it's like everything is just lining up the way it's supposed to. And when it happens, you know you're doing the right thing. Because in book 3 and 4, that's when the kids start dealing with the gardens. They're growing the family gardens, they're growing the community gardens. And she and I hadn't even met yet, and those 4 books were done, and I was like, okay, now here comes somebody
wow.
with the garden. So we just see it all lining up.
Yeah, that was, and Alicia's sharp. She's very smart on
Yes.
the business side of it. There was a gentleman there who he does this is she was breaking it down. She was very transparent about how she got finance and who she went through. And let me share that with everybody real fast.
I'm John Brent with Arbor One Farm Credit. I'm a loan officer. I work in the Conway office. Arbor One we're farm credit. We help fund rural America. So we do land loans, farm operating loans, houses in the country, lots in the country. Anything agricultural related or rural is something that we've got a lot of knowledge about. We know ag, and we're out to help the farmers and things like that. So I work in the Conway office on 1720 Mill Pond Road in Conway. Arbor One covers Georgetown County, Williamsburg, Marion, Dillon, Florence, Sumter, Clarendon, Lee County, Marlborough County, and Chesterfield County. It's basically the upper northeast corner of South Carolina. You can reach me at 843-731-1143, and we do land loans no matter how big or small they are. We don't deal commercial property, but we also do home loans in the country, and that's our stuff.
And that resonates with me because, again, you got a lot of people going to doing their home, their farm, but they don't have no clue. And here's a resource, like I said, and she already tapped into it. She was breaking down because she worked in the mortgage, field, and so she was able to, for lack of a better term, she was able to dictate how this thing went. You know what I mean? Like she went to them with a, and so that's somebody. If you have any questions, reach out to Miss Alicia at Cadogu Farms. Okay, y'all make sure y'all reach out to her. You go on my page, you can definitely find a link to Cadogu Farms over there. So Miss Renee, so how close are you to? I don't even going to ask you that about the next event. I'm trying to get a head start on everybody else. But anyway, let me back up and let me run through it one more time. Y'all see it on the screen, the Big Rig Kids. Okay, if you are an organization and you want to connect, here is a great organization to connect with. Okay, here are people that already got the ball rolling. You know what I wanted to ask you about, because I saw there was a part of the day where you had these men from all walks of life. Tell us about what
Ooh.
that was.
For me, that was powerful. And being that I was coming home, which we do this with the younger kids, where you saw myself and Shade Robinson on stage with the younger kids. Shade is a licensed therapist. When we go into the elementary schools and stuff, we have these conversations. And there are a couple of high schools that we were in. Actually, when we went to North Carolina, we went into an alternative high school and middle school. So these kids are older. And when these kids started sharing the stories of some of the things that they were going through and some of the things that they were facing, facing, from peer pressure to family life to so many other things, we really did not. I got to be honest. I think all of us have dropped the ball before COVID because everybody was just so busy running, going, working, doing. But when COVID hit, everything shut down, and now you sit back and you really see what's going on around you.
Mm-hmm.
So when we had that school in North Carolina and those kids were talking, and I found out we were coming to Georgetown, I was like, Donald Gilliard and I are pretty cool friends. We've done some work together behind the scenes as far as books, different stuff like that. So when we found out we were coming, I was like, wait a minute, we're going to these elementary schools. What about we coming together in one central location? And my vision was to get, because in the let's say the average home, you have single mothers or kids being raised by grandma. The black male is missing.
Mm-hmm.
And not only the black male, but in all homes, a lot of males are missing.
Yeah, definitely.
So we started talking. I said, now these little kids, we can handle them. But I want my kids 14 and over, to see, let's put a spin on what the news put out there for our community. We want to put some black men in front of our 14 and up. Let them see that these men came from walks of life. You had two of them who served time. They came out and they turned their lives around. You got the mayor. You got the chairman of the county council. You got two coaches who are with these boys all the time. A lot of times being father figures with them.
Absolutely.
And we also had another guy who was supposed to be there, but he had death in the family, and the funeral was that same day.
Mm-hmm.
It was very important to me for our young men to see this and start that conversation. Going back to my books again, all of my characters were created with purpose. And Josh is the father that was in the military who came back with post-traumatic stress disorder. But he was a high-ranking officer in the military. His wife died during childbirth when she gave birth to his twins. So to have that at Howard, those are the men who I wanted to put on the stage. Because a lot of times our young kids are not seeing that.
No. What's dominating them is not reality, but this suspended reality of the gangsters and
right,
and I can have it all, and I don't have to work hard, and I can make more than my
right.
teachers, and all of this other craziness that they pushing on us. They so that's why, again, these your organization and organizations that genuinely for the kids are so important moving forward into the future, because the world is really closing in on these kids. And and had a situation in Andrews that's currently going on, but with these adult men dealing with these teenage girls, and people just quiet about it. They'll come to the page and watch, but they won't, you know what I mean? And I get it. Hey, you got to protect your job or something, but some things are just.
And that still goes back to what I was just saying, though. That's why it was important to me for our community to see these men join together on stage. You know, we say our boys are missing their fathers because either they're incarcerated or for whatever reason they're not there. But what you're talking about is what's going to happen. They're looking for that father's love in their life. They're looking for that male figure in their lives. That's why it's so easy for a lot of them to get caught up into that lifestyle. Now, I won't say a whole lot about that right now because that's a book that I'm working on, The
No
Dangers of the
doubt.
Internet.
Oh man, yeah, that's
You know, so yeah, so it was important. And you got to think about it, even when it comes down to school. And then I'm going to stop and let you back in, but even when
mhm.
it comes down to the schools, when we go into the classrooms, who do we see? We don't see very many of you. These kids see females.
Mhm.
They see a few male, it may be a male planted here or a male planted there or there, but they're in a surrounding that's dominated by women. So it was important that they saw that, hey, these guys are here for us. They're willing to have the conversation. They're willing to talk with us to where we can work together and come up with solutions. And if it's not a solution for me, then I don't want to be a part of it because anybody can talk game. Let's come up with solutions.
There you go. And so here you are, a private citizen, and you're doing these things. How is it that our school boards don't recognize these things and address them in a deliberate manner?
In my opinion, when we're dealing with school boards and all that stuff, we're still dealing with politics.
Mm,
Me being a private citizen, I can speak things that they can't because they're afraid of losing their jobs.
mm,
And you're putting that responsibility on the school board, which is part of it, don't get me wrong.
mhm.
But you still have to bring the church community back into it.
Definitely.
And it also goes back. For me, the foundation always starts
At
with the
home.
parents. Because if I'm a parent and I have children in school, and if the schools are not doing what I think they should be doing with our children, then these parents need to get together and demand that they get, provide what's needed. But if I'm sending my kids to school and I'm working 2 jobs, I see my kids right before I leave to go to work in the morning. My kids get out of school in the afternoon. I'm working my second job. I get home at night at 11 o'clock. I don't know what's going on with these kids.
Yeah, and that is a reoccurring issue, and it's that's a reoccurring issue. Definitely a
So we
reoccurring
got to
issue
get back to the village.
to the village. And so these single mothers, and that's the thing, you got to trust people and you don't know who to trust. These churches, you got to start hanging out in these good places, okay, with good people. And because I mean, you said it's almost designed to separate the parent from the child, and then you take and then you say if it's a single parent, then it's just easier to separate that child, and now the system got your child more than you have your child, which they're going to have more influence over your child than you have over your child.
Also, I hear you and I agree with everything that you just said. But this is a conversation that I have with people too. We as a community have to start holding these fathers accountable.
Absolutely.
See, the fathers, they walk away, but the mothers, they're still there with those babies. And then we'll say what the single mothers need to be doing, what the grandmas, the grandparents are stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to start holding these fathers accountable. Stop raising these young boys. Oh yeah, you done grew up. You're a certain age now. It's time for you to be a man. You could go out there and chase the girls. You play football. Oh yeah, you're a woman's man. No, let's do away with that narrative and teach them how to be men, because a mother can teach her son how to be an adult, but she can't teach him how to be a man.
Absolutely. And that is the big driving factor in the community, is that men don't want to step up and be men and take their leadership role and then usher these young boys into being men, and instead of just trying to be their friends, or trying to, you know what I mean, or caring what they think, as far as when it comes to their well-being and the well-being of the community, one person's, and so yeah,
Can't do it.
I'm 100% with you, and that's the absent father, blaming the mama for whatever. No, 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 no. I'm not with that, because took two people to make that baby, and it's still your child, even if whatever the situation is. So I'm definitely with you on that, because um, I don't see a lot of fathers at the schools, especially fathers that look like me.
You
Picking up the
said it.
kids, dropping the kids off. Hey, how you doing, Miss V? How you doing, Miss this that? It just is not happening, and that's just a fact. So
Mm-hmm.
you 100% right. I seen out in Texas where they had a program where um, these fathers will walk in the halls, and that that
Mm-hmm.
that that made so much difference in the discipline. But again, finding 5 brothers, I'm calling 5 to 10 brothers who would do this. The principal at the Andrews High, I know she with it. Okay, given what's going on over there right now, as of today, 5 brothers. I'll drive from where I'm at. I will, and let's walk them halls. Okay, enough with the excuses. There it is.
I agree. And if you would allow me, Mango Creek Academy,
Mm-hmm.
that's where Carmelita Cox is the principal over there, and principal director. And let me tell you about that. There were only 17 students in that school.
Mm.
She asked us to move our time from morning to afternoon because the parents wanted to attend. These are
See, that's
pre-K students. I was so blown away because there was just as many fathers in there as there were
See, and
mothers.
that's but when you said that they ask you to change the time because you have the parents that wanted, that's always been the biggest factor in schools that I've dealing with my children, is the parent participation. If you got a high parent participation, you will have a good school, bottom
Yes,
line. So yeah,
yes.
I no doubt, and I'm glad you did that, because we got to shot those people out that do that. You know what I mean? Because I'll put everybody in the bag, but no, there are brothers that's doing it. But brothers, we just need y'all to be a little bit more, put the chest out a
And
little bit more.
and these weren't just brothers. It was brothers. They were white. They were
Oh,
Japanese.
they
They
all
were
my brothers now.
Hispanic.
Listen. When I say
I'm
brothers,
saying, I mean, I got
yeah,
you, but I wanted to break it down a little bit more to show that brothers just not mean our skin
there
tone.
you go, there you
We
go.
are one race of people. We just have
Period.
a lot of different skin
There
tones.
you go.
And when I saw that, I mean, it blew me away. And they were there active with their children. I was like, this is what's missing from society.
Yep, yep. And that's what's up, man. Again, y'all, I'm on with Miss Renee Brown, the founder of the Big Rig Kids. Miss Renee, man, listen, I let me get these this website back up there. Y'all make sure y'all go and visit the bigrigkids.org. Okay, and over there you can find a link to your books, right? You can
Yes.
find contact information to get in contact with the Big Rig
Yes.
Kids and talk and possibly bring them to your city.
Yes.
She's a truck driver, so she ain't caring about the miles. She gonna go where you know what I mean? She probably already been there. You know, on Facebook, you can find her on Facebook. You can find the organization on Facebook, the Big Rig Kids Organization. On Instagram, it's the Big Rig Kids, and the email address is the Big Rig Kids at gmail.com. Hey, listen, Grandma Polly, I'm getting toward the end of my time here, but I definitely gotta get you back because the conversation really just got to start. It just got started. Okay. So I would love to, come back and keep us updated. Definitely let me know when the next man.
We'll keep you posted because there's a thing that's working in the back that we're not gonna talk about right now, but we gonna keep you posted. And to my 7 guys that was supposed to be on that stage and the 6 that was there, Mayor McClurry, Chairman Louis Morant, Mr. Donald Gilliard, Mr. Matthew Richards,
Stitch was there,
Stitch Walker,
yeah,
and Dwayne Britton. You guys stepped up and y'all brought it, and I have to shout y'all out because man, y'all looked good on that stage, and y'all just didn't look good. Y'all brought a message with you.
Boys, get them boys a round of applause. Those guys, excuse me, those men. All right, get those men a round of applause. All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. So y'all see her on the screen again. Y'all make sure y'all reach out to the Big Rig Kids. Miss Renee, I do appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Again, we're gonna do this again. I'll call you. Listen, I'll call you tomorrow after 12, and we'll set up another time when we can do this again. Because one of the things that I want to do, that just how you did that panel with those gentlemen, I want to have a panel of people like yourself and from different organizations, because I can get up to like 12 people, 9 people on the screen. That's too many, but 4 or 5 of us on the screen. You know what I mean? And then we could, I got an idea of some topics that I want to throw at everybody and see where they come at from it. So, one more thing, shout out the program, the reading program that you have, and let us know how we can get our kids involved in that program, and tell us good night or whatever you want to tell us.
We have what we call a Big Rig Kid table read. And this is where we have broken the books down and is working on turning it into a play. And we're also taking it in the cartoon direction to where we're looking for voiceovers and different stuff like that. So right now, children from all over the country, we were doing them on Wednesdays. I just remembered. We just changed it this week to Tuesdays at 5:15. Okay. If you go to my website and look at the link, you could sign up. Right now, it doesn't cost anything to sign up because we're trying to have children who are familiar with the Big Rig Kids and the materials when we come to their city so that they could participate with us just like the kids did on stage with myself and Sade Robinson, which was the first set of conversations that we had. Mm-hmm. And go to the website. The link is there. And if you're interested, or some people will say, well, I don't have kids. Well, you got grandkids, and I don't have grandkids either. Well, do you have nieces and nephews? A kid is a kid, we take them.
Is there a link to buy the books on the website also?
Yes, everything is on the website.
Okay.
We're taking these kids. We said 4th grade through high school, but Mason, the little fella that you fell in love with,
mm-hmm.
is in 3rd grade. Yeah. And when we did the play in Charlotte, the same role that Mason played there was a 3rd grader that played Caden from the story with middle schoolers.
Yeah, these kids,
So it depends on the child's ability.
yeah.
I don't believe in putting limits on kids,
There you go.
and I
There you
don't
go.
believe in dumbing them down.
There you
If they're
go.
capable of learning,
Teach them.
we will take them. And with all that being said, Mr. Richardson, it was a pleasure
Thank you,
meeting you
ma'am.
and your children.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure being here tonight.
No
And
doubt.
we will definitely be having more conversations.
Yes, 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 yes. One more time, y'all give it up for the founder of the Big Rig Kids, Miss Renee Brown. I appreciate you. Thank you, ma'am. You have a great night, okay?
And you do likewise.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
All right, all right. All right, y'all give it up one more time for Miss Renee Brown. That was awesome right there. The Big Rig Kids. That was a great event that took place at Howard in Georgetown. Also,
Hi, I'm Amir with the Welcome to Andrew's podcast. I am with the founder of Black Diamond Princess, Miss Jerry Davis. Can you tell us what it means for you to be here today?
Thank you. It means a lot because now I get to put the words out of what the organization is for, what our mission is, and how we can help other folks around the surrounding area.
Thank you. You heard it live, folks.
Mir be putting this little spin on it. Yeah, I listen. I just give them kids a mini script, and they kind of put their own personality and character on it. But tonight, a great show. Very, very, very great guests with some good information. Again, y'all see it on the screen right there. My people, ladies, gentlemen, if you are going through something in a relationship, any kind of abuse, you are not alone. You have help, okay? Please. Just to run through a few things here real fast. Tomorrow is going down. I keep saying it's going down. That's from the club, y'all. I'm sorry. Just going down. Georgetown County. No. Tomorrow, Georgetown County Council meeting Tuesday, March 28th, 5:30 p.m. If you can be there, please be there. If you can't, find it online. Okay. There's a bunch of different things that they get ready to talk about that real slick, okay? Real slick, but we'll get into that at another time. So again, shout out to Mr. Jamar Langley. Congratulations on advancing, winning tonight's round. And I agree, Shakira, on that, what you said down there. I definitely agree. Same kind of vibes, too. Shout out to Mr. Langley. You see him here on the screen. Andrew's native. Yep, yeah. All right, y'all. It's loading. It is loading. Y'all see it right there. The date is set, Friday, October 6th. You see it on the screen, my people. Shout out to Swamp Boy Barbecue. Swamp Boy Barbecue. Swamp Boy Barbecue. One time for Miss Clarice J. Clarice J. It's going down. I guess I can say that for that. Live performance. It's the first ever Women Do Great Business 2 business mixer with a live performance by, you see her on the screen there, Miss Clarice J. And that's going to be Saturday, May 27th, 6 p.m. at the Ace Building. The Ace Building is located at 30 East Main Street in Andrews, South Carolina. Boy, he got that radio voice going tonight. Live and direct. So we'll be back on old Pepperoni Tony tomorrow with a new episode of Pepperoni Tony. I'm going to show my legs. We'll be back on you tomorrow, Pepperoni Tony. Scott, take that video down, man, of that girl being beat up like that. That's a horrible situation that took place at Andrews High School today. Very horrible situation. Brings to question. I mean, brings up the question, like, what type of environment is there? And what is fueling it? And how can we fix it? That's probably part of the reason why schools in Andrews are losing its better students. That's probably not the right thing to say. Losing the smartest students, the top of the S, because the kids can't operate in an environment like that. What would you do? Horrible situation. Now, Scott Harper posting that video is trash, and the fact that he led the article saying that somebody got arrested, and then midway in the article said no charges had come down yet, that was kind of harsh. Because when I heard that and the blurring of it, Adobe Pro, stop with that free editing software. Okay, you are a journalist. I am a podcaster. Okay, stop being cheap. And people gonna sue your ass. That's what's gonna happen. You sitting over here watching, trying to put it out before the podcaster gets it. I started the post saying, "Watch this idiot." Then I read that trash article you wrote today about. So apparently that 41 million, the penny sales tax money that they are withholding from the citizens of Andrews to do your town hall. So apparently every Carolina is doing, they're voting. They can vote to shift that $7 million of that money that should have never been given to each one of those councilmen members. They voting to move some of that around. So Sanford, you're not going to get your tennis courts. Okay. It's going to go to various projects in the community. It's campaign time. It's time to, they're using, it's the stupidest thing in the world. They're using your tax dollars to campaign to you. You're financing their campaigns with that $41 million. And I dare any one of them to say that I'm lying, because they know I'm not lying. They're using your money to campaign to you. And just like Miss Renee said about when the parents should get together and go and demand, okay? That's just like with the EMS situation that's going to be talked about tomorrow. One EMS is not enough. When you sit back and look at the totality of it, the whole pie of it, Georgetown County has a shortage of EMS, and they need to do something about that ASAP. Okay? It's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's a safety thing. Just hope your emergency happens, in sequence. That's sarcasm. Okay? I didn't mean that. That's just me being sarcastic. But again, a lot of situations that we need to attack and touch. So, but Rome wasn't built in a day, and but that didn't mean that they stopped building. You know what I mean? Again, a lot of people are going to be showing up tomorrow for the county council meeting, and we all need to stay on message. Okay, here's some critical care and vulnerable to a vulnerable population. Here's some issues that it's the fact that there's 600 students at Andrews Highs. There's 900 students at Andrews Primary, and there's 600 students at Rosemary Middle School for estimated 2,100 students in school at any given school day. 22 dialysis patients, and the dialysis center has been having issues with getting ambulances there in a timely manner. Just the fact that there's a aging population. There's a Western industrial park over there that sits on the outside of Andrews, where you got industrial work going on. Safe Rack and the other companies that's in that industrial park. So if there's an emergency there, big time, senior housing on the County Line Road, you got 15, 20 trailer parks right there. St. James Health and Wellness Clinic. There's a lot going on there. So one ambulance just does not seem to be like that's, I'm not sure as to why they think that's enough. It's a lot going on, man. I'll keep you up on as much as I can. Again, obviously, y'all see me still looking over here, which means I haven't put that screen back behind there yet. So, see if I'm looking over here a little bit, it might be better. So, but I just got to mount that that monitor on the wall, and I need a dang HDMI splitter. So, anyway, it's been a good one. Again, if you can make it, reach out to Jenny Hunt if you want to get a ride. If you don't want to drive at night or anything. She says that all the time. So